Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Good morning. I'm excited. It's one of those days I must have had too many Fruit Loops. I'm just saying. This is not a sugar buzz. Don't get it twisted. It is a gratitude buzz, and I'm here to share it with you and want you to share all yours with me. My name is Lauren Michaels Harrison. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. This is the place where Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central, we have illuminated conversations, which means it's all about the light. The light isn't out there. It's not at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train coming. The light is within us, and everything that ever hurt us, ever betrayed us, all those cracks that we have or had, that's how the light gets in, and that's how the light gets out. Can I get an amen? Everything that ever hurt us, harmed us, did anything other than love us, it helped us lead each other to this moment right here, where the greatest promise known to man, in my opinion, is fulfilled every time we come together. And that's the promise: where two or more come together, great things will happen. So welcome, and welcome again. So anyway, welcome. It's Thursday. It's the last day of September, the last day. So look, October, November, December, we got 3 months to finish out this year in a big, big way. And one of the things that I'm just going to keep it real, we'll put things out there. In Q1 for our business, we want to accomplish this. In Q2, we want to accomplish that. I want to get this fixed up around the house. I need to get some new tires right around March. All those sorts of things. We put them in place so that we make sure that we execute. But one of the things that I don't think many of us, well, I didn't for a long time. Let me just speak from my own experience. And I'm talking about my mental wellness. You know, a lot of people, there's a difference between personal development, reading books, and I got a ton of them around here, and that sort of thing, to help us grow and know so that we can show others. But sometimes we need to do a status check, just like we get a physical, or should at least once a year, even more after 50. I think we should do the same thing with our mental wellness. So today, let me tell you about Septimius Marlow, Septimius the Great. He must really be great because he got booked last night to go. I think he's shooting some kind of a, what do you call those things? Soap opera or something, right? So he's on his way to the airport. And I was like, okay, Septimius the Great. Let me find out you're still in bed and just don't want to get up. You know how those Californians are. Ooh, it's not even 10 o'clock and he expects me out of bed. I'm just kidding. So anyway, that's why he's not here today. But as fate would have it, there are no mistakes on the planet. And today I brought my good friend and just like a brother, seriously, Mark Haddis. And because there's something I want you to know about going on right around the corner. Starts, I believe, on the 8th of the month for a couple of days. I think it's the 8th through the 10th, if I'm not mistaken. And it is, in my opinion, one of the most impressive mental health summits that I've had brought to my attention. I'm not saying there's not others out there. I haven't seen them. So anyway, we're going to bring that to you so that you can see what's going on, and perhaps it's a great fit for you or someone that you love. So first of all, help me welcome to the show my sidekick. Y'all know who she is. It's Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. She's been here all 6 years. Hi, Lucy. I love you. Not you, Lucy. I love you too, Lucy the cat. She thought I called her. Hi, hey, little baby. And what is this? This is what I use to. You got it. Ring that bell. Ring that bell. Ring that bell. That bell. Ding, dong, ding. That's not the disco version. That is the purposeful version. That's the bell of purpose. What it is, therefore, is to remind us when you hear it that the truth, yes, that's right, has a ring to it. So we get distracted. We get, busy, multitasking, what have you. But when you hear that bell, no matter what you're doing, I want you to lean in, tune in, and hopefully take that truth with you. Okay, so you can give it away. Can I get an amen? All right. So today, let's get started. First thing I want to say, you guys know I've been integrating different people that have had their own personal experience with the Power of We Symposium. And I want to show you something. I have this video sitting on the Power of We website for life because of Mark Haddis. When I first met him, what he did for me by explaining just through his own story how he made his way from where he was to everything beyond where he was. And what I mean by that is, the stigma. A lot of us won't talk about mental health because we don't want people to think something's wrong with us. Oh, Lord, did you hear about Sharon? She cray. No, if you can't talk about mental health, why don't we talk about mental wellness? And that's where we want to go. So I want to show you guys this. So here it is. Here's my website for Power We, and as you see, all that stuff's there. There's sponsorship, testimonials, but here it sits, Journey's Dream, and we'll sit there until they give me something. Ooh, look at that. That video is 222. That's one of my angel numbers. See what I mean? Take a look at what Journey's Dream does. This is Mark Haddis' nonprofit, and you'll get a little idea, and we've got more for you, but let's start here.
Then I saw the police officers and the priest. I knew something was wrong, and I saw Mitzi, and she said, "He's gone."
I looked for any and every alternative or traditional medication or treatment or therapy or doctor or resource, but I found them difficult to find.
I started to dream about a resource that would support people who were experiencing mental illness, and that we get rid of this idea that mental illness is something to be addressed in a silo, and we embrace every possible tool that can support someone in recovery, because that's possible.
What if people like Journey and all people could recover from mental illnesses? In today's world, that may sound like a stretch. I would have been skeptical had I not fully recovered after a bipolar diagnosis in 2011. Hi, my name is Mark Haddis, and along with Journey's family, we founded Journey's Dream to convene, develop, and share the most innovative and effective solutions for mental health recovery. At Journey's Dream, you will find people who believe in your recovery, including a growing list of amazing practitioners. You will also find a transformative educational program supporting you living as your optimal being. And you will see how the narrative is changing from one of hopelessness to one of hope, health, and recovery. It's been a humbling and exciting first year. 2019 promises to be even more incredible. You can be part of it. Mental health recovery is possible. Visit journeysdream.org and today become a champion of hope.
I could be on one of those progressive commercials. You're muted. So anyway, that's well. Senior moment be gone. I banish thee. There. Okay, I'm clear. So, Mark, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. So happy you're here. I want to start. Go ahead and say hello to everybody. And then I got one humdinger of a starting question. Tell everybody where you're at. And
yeah. Hey, everybody. Lauren, so blessed to be here, and thanks for playing that. It brings back some memories from when we produced it. I am out in Naperville, a stone's throw from where Lauren lives.
Right? We're practically neighbors.
Practically neighbors. In fact, we're playing tennis this Saturday.
Yay! Well, I'm playing. You're just running around trying to keep up. I'm kidding, y'all, for real. Yeah, I'm so proud to call you friend and to the work you're doing, and you're so tenacious. And every time, we bring you in, there's some new level of growth and exposure where you're just bringing more people into the light of possibility. And I just, I want to tell everybody, about 6 months ago, just by fluke, when I was at the VA, they were going through my files, and I think you guys might remember some of this, and they went through and they saw an incident way back in 1983 that I experienced while in the military. And long story short, got service connected for PTSD, which I did not even know. I didn't even really remember the incident until they brought it up. But then when they asked me to write it out 30 some years later, it was word for word, pretty much. And that's why they gave me 70% service connection for the rest of my life. But then that got me thinking, Mark. Matter of fact, yesterday was my first meeting telehealth with my therapist from over a year and a half ago before COVID. Because I thought, well, I've worked through it all. Thank you so much, Ramon. I'll holler at you. Bye. But then when this diagnosis came, I was excited about the extra money. Yeah. But then I started thinking, but wait a minute. I need to find out how I did not know this. Where did it go that I couldn't even remember it and have it? Or why did I dismiss it so easily? So I want to ask you this question first. When you are in, say dinner or someone's home or wherever, and you bring up the subject of the bipolar diagnosis you had, do you see people step back a little bit, almost like if you got a mask on and you cough, they're going to move back, because there is that stigma. There's a place that people automatically go when they hear anything mental health, especially, pinpointing some diagnosis like bipolar. What's that experience like?
Well, it's changed over the years. I would say early on, when I was first introduced to the idea of having, something that was off, and I felt so uncomfortable and ashamed, and there was a lot to it. I would say that people pulled away, but as I accepted my diagnosis and then really moved into the recovery plan and got healthy, and realized, wait, this is not something to be embarrassed about. Actually, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It really gave me the awareness that something was off. And there are tools out there, there are resources, and that's what we're doing, is bringing those, at the summit coming up, more of those resources in the integrative mental health field to people's awareness. And
what does that mean, integrative mental health field?
Well, I'll answer that question. It's a great question. It's kind of like, think of it like alternatives to the traditional. It includes medication, but it's beyond that. It looks at the whole person.
Okay.
And so when we look at the whole person, we're not just saying, oh, well, hey, you're exhibiting these symptoms, and so, you fall into this category. We're going to try this classification of pills, and so, take these. If they don't work, we'll try another one. And that's pretty much kind of how it goes until you run out of classifications, if it's not working for you, and you move into ECT or something, which is, the shock treatments.
Oh, Lord.
Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, so someone could debate me and say, well, Mark, it's not exactly how it is, but that's how it was for me.
Right.
And once they got to the electroshock therapy idea, I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I got to find something else.
Look, I've watched too many Lifetime movies. I don't think so. Right. And that's how I felt when I went in for the depression thing all those years ago after finding my birth family. And I told you guys know the story, some of you. Within 10 minutes, the psychiatrist was writing me a prescription. And I said, what's that? He said, lithium. And I was like, I knew there was something, I've heard about it, but I was like, ain't that one of those things that puts you into a zombie state? And I said, well, how long do I have to take it? He goes, most likely for life.
Yep, that's kind of that's the story that's out there. And what you'll find with integrative mental health practitioners is they're likely going to do tests, which hadn't been done, for the first 3 years. I hadn't had really the level of blood tests that I needed, but I met some doctors who did. They tested the gut. They tested, whether I'm processing proteins well. They tested 7 different categories that are known to be affiliated with mental health issues. And so that creates a level of comfort, right? That's like, oh, wait, so it's supposed to be in this range and it's off. So what do we do to get it back? And using nutrient therapy, one of the people that's going to be speaking, actually 2 of them, William Walsh invented essentially, this nutrient protocol, and tens of thousands of people have gone through it, and he'll be there speaking, as well as Dr. Albert Mensa.
Okay, wait, don't get ahead. Before we get to the I want to say seminar. It's not a seminar. What is it?
The summit.
When
virtual summit.
Before we get to the summit, I want to really quickly, let's back the car up. Mark, when your diagnosis came about, you were at a point in your life where most people would have said it's the best time to be alive. And talk about that, because I want people to understand this doesn't just happen when the curtains are drawn and, rotten food is all over the kitchen. You haven't taken a bath in 6 months, all that. That's what we picture. Just like I used to picture a drug addict at the freeway entrance, with a sign and a syringe hanging out of his arm. And that wasn't the case at all. And I didn't realize that until I was looking in the mirror at one. So I want you to take us through, you said bipolar. Now, a lot of people think you're like, hi, how you doing? Get out of my way. Tell us how that came about. And well, they do. And then also when you say bipolar, people automatically attach the second part in most cases, bipolar / schizophrenia. So, which makes it even scarier. Is he going to turn around and cut my head off? What's going to happen? What happened that made you think, or people around you, something ain't right with Mark? What were the warning signs?
Well, it was 9 months after I had sold a tech company that I had a hand in building, and had a very successful early career in tech. Was the CEO of that company. We had about 150 people. When I sold it, we were doing about 20 million in sales. So it wasn't a huge company, but not inconsequential. It was significant. And when I had a week in September of 2011 start to, show me that the world is not what I had previously thought it was, I thought it was fascinating, because, I would be in conversations and I'd hear someone's thoughts in their head and then they'd speak them. And it was sort of eye-opening, like, wait, what just happened?
Wait a minute. Wait. Back the car up. Did you just say you would hear thoughts in people's heads and then they would speak them?
Yeah.
Literally, they would speak them.
Word for word.
Okay, well, how is that bipolar? Isn't that clairvoyant or?
Well, it's yeah. Here's one of the things that I found. So there is a contingent of people who say, well, is it bipolar or waking up? In fact, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he did a whole program on that. Like, what is it? Mm-hmm. Because there are many situations where people diagnosed with bipolar have these kinds of experiences, and it's oftentimes looking like mine, kind of pretty cool in the beginning, but it doesn't stop there. So imagine you're running and you're going whatever, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 miles an hour. And suddenly you find yourself running at, 30, 40 miles an hour. And there's a sense at that speed that you're out of control. If one small move and if you hit the pavement at 30, 40 miles an hour running, you're going to hurt yourself. And so what happens oftentimes with someone who's in a bipolar manic episode is there might be some really cool aspects of it until there's not. And that was what happened for me is, I was hearing voices, I was experiencing physical healing, where I literally had hands in my back stretching and healing me, but they were not seen by anybody, nor may a lot of people even believe that because it sounds so incredible and out there.
So today, when you say that, do you believe it really happened, or do you think it was in your head as a part of this diagnosis?
It's a great question. So the medical community would say it was all in my mind. That's the official, I think, narrative. What I would share with you is that my current analysis of it is that, yes, it might have been produced in some way from the mind, but the whole system was engaged. So my every faculty, so whatever you want to include in that, of me was engaged in this process. So it wasn't that I believe it was isolated to the mind, but I can tell you when a wall moved, I probably was the only person on the planet to experience that wall moving. And anyone else who walked in the room would have seen it how it is.
Right.
But to me, it very much moved for me to my benefit. But I don't know what actually happened.
That's the line. That's the line that I find it so fascinating, because even today, when I think back, there are things today I know to be true because I have those conversations all day, every day, and they're manifesting abundance and opportunities and healing and unconditional and love and joy and all those things. But back when I was dealing underneath the blanket of some form, depression, of mental illness, those things automatically were dismissed by me first because I
Yeah.
was afraid to bring them up because I thought they're going to really try to lock me up. You know what I'm saying? Right. But today, on the other side of that, no more depression, no more thoughts of suicide. I don't invest in killing myself. I invest in healing myself. So let's talk about that. For the person, what about gifts of the spirit, spiritualism? Because a lot of us, my worst, or let's say my deepest layers of mental illness were when I was still trapped inside. I'm just saying that for me personally, the box known as organized religion, because I wasn't free to just experience what I do today. So talk about how you feel personally. We all have our own. You guys feel free to drop comments in about that line. Things that the medical community don't understand. How do we, how does a person know, well, maybe this isn't a mental illness. Maybe I'm just anointed in a way. Maybe I have something extra.
Well, and what's interesting is we all, excuse me, I believe have that something extra. And it's the experience of denial of who we truly are that reflects the resistance of those gifts coming on fully into our life and being fully what I call integrated. So let's say that a child is born and has that clairvoyant ability where they can see things in their mind's eye, and then they just know things in that way, and then they share it with mom or dad, and mom or dad says, well, that's not real. Well, now they feel like they want to please mom and dad, and so the thing that might have been celebrated in one family was denounced in another, and they do their best to shut it off. Well, guess what? Imagine the pressure in the spirit in that person when they shut off the gift that was intended for them to have on in their life.
Right.
And if you shut that off, which we all have the ability to shut it off, but it will come back again and again and again and remind us again and again and again. In fact, a lot of people with bipolar, they have this thing called cycling where thoughts recur. And oftentimes what's occurring is there's a resistance to experiencing that particular thought. Maybe there's a fear with it. But if we stop the resistance and actually go into it and say, well, okay, I don't understand it, and get curious, like, well, what does this word mean?
Mm-hmm.
What is this thought showing me? We can actually start to unpack, not that we consciously of ourselves could ever do it because we stuffed it so far away and hid it behind, locked doors, but there's innately within everybody, this, I would say, holy, pure guidance system that leads us into our optimal life. Yeah. And if we can move into a trusted relationship, all the resistance can fall away and the denial can collapse, and we can fully be our optimal self, if you will. And in that, what you're going to find are tremendous gifts. You're going to have people that know things, that, can hear things that other people may not be able to hear, see things. Some people see colors and sound. I mean, it's amazing. Do you really?
What words? I see words actually three-dimensionally. I'm just used to it. You know what I'm saying? They've always been that way. I just actually see them in their different fonts and different colors. And when I'm creating content, I just look for the ones that match. I tell people all the time when they're like, "Ooh, that was the best work you ever did." I tell them, look, if God had a book on the bookshelf behind his desk about our relationship, it would be called Inspiration for Dummies, because it just shows me pictures. You see, but when I didn't understand that and no one talked about it, I didn't hear anybody else saying it, I didn't bring it up, I started thinking something's wrong with me. Because you see movies where they show people seeing things, oh my God, that's me. Like I didn't already have enough problems. So let me ask, do you feel that mental health and the term mental wellness, are they one and the same, or are they two different things?
Well, it's a great question that I don't know if my answer would match a lot of people's answers, but what I've found is there's a word wellness in the world that's very much tied to insurance. and the protocols that someone may.
Those dirty dogs.
Well, it's not a bad thing. It's just that it's protocols that they may that are reimbursable, for example, and they kind of are in that wellness, kind of category. So it depends on the context of how it's used. But I would say that what I call, when I think of health, mental is one part of it. And even though we're having, an integrative mental health summit, the word integrative is the indicator that it's expansive beyond what traditional medicine says is this category. It looks at, like I said, the whole person. And so if you were to go to someone in the integrative mental health world, they're going to be asking a lot more questions about your life. There's going to be a deeper dive into things that are going to, really reveal maybe something more constructive that may open up the door to alternative solutions that aren't necessarily even known by a lot of practitioners. And one of the things we're doing is opening this up for practitioners to come and learn and expand their knowledge. We've got over 40 speakers coming.
Yes, you do.
That are incredible.
Let's talk about that. So how long ago, where did the seedling, who's the brainchild of this summit, and how did it start, and how did it grow? I have a feeling when you guys first started, whomever that is, you didn't see it being as big as it is right now. Talk about that.
Well, I'll give all the credit to, I don't even know if it's proper, but I think it's appropriate to first mention Mensa Research Institute. And Mensa Research Institute is a partner of ours. Dr. Albert Mensa had been a board member on Journey's Dreams board. And I'm not sure if it was him or Brea, our executive director, but someone popped the idea up. They had done an event prior that was live, and we had attended, and it was very well done. So I'm gonna go with Mensa on this one.
Okay.
And so we just said, hey, what if we did something together? And so that was the beginning of it. DJ Wells on their team and Brea Wallen really have instigated like bringing this forward. I mean, they're incredible people. And that's how it started about almost going on a year ago that the first idea percolated. It's been a bit.
So here's what you're saying. We're on the website, actually, integrativementalhealthsummit.org, and you'll find that link at the top of the chat feed in today's broadcast, as well as the journeysdream.org site for your perusal. You say here, we've gathered the foremost innovators, experts, and thought leaders in mental health with one purpose in mind. And what I like about this, that was very clever, purpose in mind, I get it. When you say innovators, you led with innovators instead of experts for credibility. And innovators means people who experiment, who stretch beyond what is known and accepted. Talk about that, and then pick out a few of your favorites or some of the highlight speakers, and tell people why you chose them and what they are going to be bringing when is it? The 8th?
The 8th to the 10th. It's 3 days. Just to be clear, it's 3 days. It's, I think, starts at 10 a.m. Central, goes till 5 or 6 or so. And the schedule will be posted soon, so you can pick and jump in and out. But here, Dr. William Walsh, I've got his book right here, which is called Nutrient Power. Okay. And this is just an incredible body of work. So, he's worked with over 30,000 patients. They measure 7 areas in a person's system, which indicate, why someone's experiencing a mental health challenge. For example, one of the things they discovered, and Dr. Judith Bowman, who's a little bit, lower on the screen there, if you scroll, she's a partner with Dr. Mensa. She told me a story once. She said, Mark, one of the things they discovered is women who have postpartum depression all have a copper toxicity.
Oh.
And so one of the things they do is they have a protocol to remove the copper toxicity. Keep going. And when the copper toxicity goes away, the brain comes back into balance. There she is on the left.
Uh-huh.
So, and she's got, I mean, she'll be there talking about, some of the women's, challenges and things, but that's just one thing, right? So
Yeah.
that's going to be, that's what we're looking at that as innovation, right? And nutrient power is really critical. But my own take, honestly, is instead of saying, oh, it's a chemical imbalance and using that as a cop-out, one of the things we're looking at is, well, maybe the system's off, Lauren, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe chemically it is. Maybe there is a copper toxicity or a cryptopyrrole issue or a histamine issue or copper zinc ratios off or whatever it is. Maybe there's some issues there, but that's one part. That's a sign. Like, how did it start? Right. How did it start? And so that's where the path within is really critical. And we have some people here that really help people go on that path within as well to identify what is it that can unwind the challenges in someone, the traumas, hurts, pains.
Mark, I'm looking here. I froze on the screen right here. I stopped rather because it caught my eye. And this is something you don't traditionally see at a summit of this caliber, where you have all these world-renowned leaders and innovators in mental health, where they bring success stories of what we see here with Deb, gratitude for being off the antidepressant roller coaster, etc. And then Susan, a recovered addict. Tell us why you all thought that was so important to bring speakers to this summit that fit this category.
Well, a big part of what we're exploring here is supporting people and having the awareness that recovery, restoration to full health, it's very real, it's very possible. And just to hear one person's story, it's like, oh, well, maybe, they had whatever, some super secret thing, or another thing that happens, Lauren, is some people who are practitioners even say, well, they probably weren't even bipolar. They're probably misdiagnosed. Right. And so, but that's such a cop-out. I mean, that's such a weak response. And so we want to highlight people who have really done the work, who have come through adversity and have made it to the other side, and their life is moving forward in a positive direction. So it's absolutely critical to highlight, human beings, regular people who have gone through it.
Yeah. Now, how many people are we looking at? I'm just scrolling so people can kind of maybe something might catch their eye. But how many are here in total?
It's just over 40.
Okay, 40 people over 2 days. I don't imagine that any two are specifically talking about the exact same thing, or why would you need two? But I'm sure there's some crossover. But here's my question. For the person sitting here going, well, crap, if it takes 40 people to talk about 40 different things, maybe I'm afraid to even, hear all of it. Because what if 17 of them bring out things that I wasn't aware, but it feels like something that sounds familiar. They just put a name to it. I could walk away feeling worse.
It's
you see what I'm saying? What I mean, that's really one of those questions that is, that's not the case. But what I'm getting at is 40 people, 40 different things. What does that really say to us about how you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you almost have to have a PhD to see the benefit of mental wellness when there's so much out there.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that we're doing this, is because, we've talked to, I was at a high school on Monday. I was honored at my high school actually, and spoke to 400, young people there.
I remember I heard about that, Walnut Grove. Melly Olsen gave the welcome.
All right, John Boy.
You did that the last time. That's the Waltons.
I know.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I couldn't miss that one.
It's a double inside joke.
Yes, it is. Congratulations, though, seriously, on that.
Yeah, no, thank you. But I had so many parents and faculty, come up, and they said how important this was at this time. I had a person, he had been there since 1962, coming to these alumni things, and he heard me talk, and he's like, Mark, it was just so relevant, so timely, so perfect. The superintendent mentioned that, the kids are struggling, and not just at that high school, at every high school. I mean, kids are struggling, and parents, guess what? They don't know what to do. They haven't dealt with this before. And so what we're doing is we're bringing all these resources to educate. So Alex Doman, for example, as you popped on, he's third generation of studying how music and sound can be used in healing for autism, for executive function, for mental health. So just listening to Alex is worth coming. And there's so many, like Dr. Mumper's coming, and she could hold a stage on her own, and a lot of these people could. This is an informative thing that's going to cover children's health, women's health, autism, addiction, trauma, stress, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, the works. Dr. David Grand is the inventor, talk about innovators, the innovator of brain tapping. And just an incredible practice that helps people move through trauma rapidly. And when someone's at home, and for the first time ever, their spouse or their child, or maybe they're having experiences that are unusual, when they go and they look into this, there's so many contradictory messages out there in mental health. And so we said, hey, we want people that are coming that have success with human beings getting well, and come and share. I mean, these are very, very successful people who have a broad spectrum of solutions. And one of the things we recognize is one solution isn't right for everybody. One person going to this is going to get what they most need, and everyone else is going to possibly pull something else, but it's going to be meaningful for them.
Awesome. Now listen, when we come back from this brief commercial break, we want to talk about Journey Stream a little bit more. Your new book, which is wonderful, Prisoner of War, and then this new social platform that you all have come up with, Amity, for people just like us, a safe place that's secure to come together and have the conversation about mental health.
We're so excited about that.
I am too. I'm in there already, and I did not expect what I got, but I'm glad I got it. We'll be right back, you guys. Don't go away. We'll share this out. Share it out and share it out again. Stay where you're at. We'll be right back.
You fight again. And if you want my opinion, I let it take me away. Only relief is the four on the floor and the crowd that goes, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, oh, turn it up, turn it up.
I received this insight about a title called Prisoner of War. The book
Well, all right. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm Lauren Michael Harris, and here's Mark Hedges, our guest today, founder of Journey Stream, but also a partner of this integrative mental health summit that is coming up the 8th through the 10th of October, which begins tomorrow. So, Mark, before we get into Amity and also the book, one more time, and then we'll come back again before we leave about the summit. What's the best way? We have the link, and I can put it up on the screen again. But tell people the ease of getting into the summit and about the pay-per-view, you know, and this and the other, and the donation part. I saw
Sure.
that over on the talk about that.
Yeah, it's so integrativementalhealthsummit.org. You can see on the website there. You can also get there through journeysdream.org or Dr. Mentz's site. The fee is the value of this ticket for 3 days with this kind of value is about $150, but we're not charging that. We're asking for a minimum of a $25 donation. And the reason for that is we said, hey, we want to make sure this is accessible to everybody and anybody. And so pay what you can there. One of the interesting things, Lauren, is we have business leaders. If you're a business leader, listen up. We have business leaders that are sponsoring their teams in going through this. So special thanks to Network Data Systems and Top Step Trading. You know, there's some others. There's some really good companies that are sharing this out with their teams as well. They might not be paying for it, but they're sharing it with their teams and saying, hey, this is important to us. If you want to be there, be there.
Yes.
And so whether it's you, a family, loved one, you know, it's really, timely. And you don't have to go to the whole thing. You can, I'll be there for the whole time.
Sure.
But you could pop in because the schedule will be promoted. It's not up yet, but it will be promoted on the site soon, so you can see exactly who's talking when.
So how do you feel? I know a lot of you, I can just imagine with all these speakers and whatnot, the different Zoom calls and all of this. What have you been hearing? What's the word on the street, so to speak, as far as the overall mindset or mental health conditions of us as a people, as opposed to pre-COVID? Are you hearing that people are having are they leaning in and paying more attention to their mental wellness and mental health because of what we've been going through for the past year and something?
Well, they don't all call it mental health. That's the interesting thing. So our friends at Same Here Global, another great group that's doing amazing work, one of their messages is, the stats show that 1 in 5 will be diagnosed with a mental health challenge, as you saw in one of the early videos. And they say it's a 5 in 5 issue. This is not a 1 in 5 issue anymore. This is a 5 in 5 issue. Everyone's had trauma. Everyone's had hurts. Everyone's had unresolved stuff in them. So to think that, well, only this group, that creates such a divided idea. And one of the burnout strategies that we've seen happening around the world is if we can divide people enough into this isolation, then, I don't know what the goal is, but it's not working for people's mental health. People are hurting, and dealing with so many conflicting questions. Do they, go to work or work at home? Wear a mask, not wear a mask, get vaxxed, not get vaxxed. There's so much stress that not everyone's even aware that they're in it anymore. There's so much almost numbness. Well, if people are numb because they're so stressed, then their full faculties aren't on. They're not fully engaged in their own life.
Right.
And they're going to have a breaking point where it's going to crash. And so what we want to do more than ever is proactively get people the strategies to deal with the stress so that it doesn't get to a point where it crashes. Well, and so that's one of the reasons why people would show up to something like this, is to get those tools. And it's a huge issue right now. Huge. The numbers are off the charts.
Yeah, right. So, I want to say this, the Amity, this social platform, I think it's a brilliant idea, because I know myself, from both directions, I'll sit and I'll see where people who are really going through something, because I can see inside that room, because I slept in that bed. I laid on that floor. I cried into that bowl of emptiness that's in there. I've done it. I know the feel of that carpet without turning the lights on. And so, and you see people post things that you know for a fact is a cry for help, but you'll see a string of sending prayers. Nothing wrong with prayers, but I need some resources. I need somebody that I can call and talk me off the ledge, so to speak, sometimes. So having said that, you have that, and then you have all the people who they're either because they're in corporate or they don't want the neighbors to know, or they're feeling some kind of way. They're not the ones who are trying to get attention. Oh, cry for me, Argentina. They really need someone to see them, but they don't want to be judged, so they keep it in. And talk about Amity and why this platform for people who want to get in. It's private, it's secure for us to talk freely, to share freely, and be poured into as well as pour into others without judgment.
Yeah, this also was a brainchild about a year ago to put together a community that was supportive, that really people could go and feel.
Where did it come from?
What's that?
Where did it come from, the idea?
It actually came from around the same time we thought of the summit. I think it might have been in the same board meeting. It was like some special board meeting.
That's just amazing. What a great group of people you have.
It is. It's incredible. And I think it might have been Dr. Mensa again, like, hey, what if we brought a group together and created this safe space? But the thing is we wanted it to be where someone could come and they could just be in the space and feel almost a sense of relief and calm just by being there. And you felt that when you went there, there's just hey, these people are caring, they're loving, and it's really created with that intent.
Yes.
But there's great content out there, but it is different. I've gone to some of the mental health communities on different social platforms, and it goes very quickly into a rabbit hole. And one of the things in Amity, what we see is, there's just a lot of great content, great community, not there to woe is me or anything. It's there to lift up, let's lift each other up. Let's bring hope.
It does. How does a person get in? And one of the things that caught my eye in there was that you don't have likes, applause, sad faces, and hearts and all that. You actually cheer people on.
Yep.
I found that talk about that, and how does a person get in? Because it's private, it's secure. So what's the process?
Yeah. So if you're interested in exploring it, and it's brand new, and if in fact we're announcing it before we're even announcing it, because the announcement's going to be at the event.
Okay.
So you're all getting a preview. But if you go to journeystream.org/Amity, you'll be able to navigate in. But and it's one of those. We're going to have a lot to learn with this. Right now, our intention is to create an environment and maintain that environment so that people can come and really feel right away a sense of, I'm in the right place, and that's important. I don't think it exists. I haven't seen it anywhere else.
I'm putting it in the comments too, you guys. What do you hope for people that come to Amity? What do you hope they will? Because when you go in there, I'm gonna tell you what it did for me. Because I went in just to peek, to get an organic feel for it. I really didn't expect to stay. I was doing it to get intel, and next thing you know, I'm posting words, and then I was like, well, wait a minute, why don't I go and share some video? And I did that, and it felt like I was around someone's dinner table. Like, even though, and I was reading all the different people's things, and every time I read, I felt like, aw, I'm so glad I know you now. Aw, and I kept going on, like, wow, really, really, really. There were so many surprises. Before I'd known it, I was in there for probably 40, 50 minutes. So I felt like, even though I knew this is brand new, I felt like I was invited, like Habitat for Humanity. Like I was there to help build the house.
Yep.
Is that?
Yep. And that's
an important part for people that feel they don't belong anywhere.
Well, if you think of, you mentioned build the house, and a good friend of mine, Adam Markell, taught me about building a container. And, you know, when he starts a speech or something like, hey, create a container where people feel and they know, like, what is it that we're going to be talking about and what's on and off in this environment. And so we're in the process of conveying what is that container for people, but it couldn't have been expressed better than what you just said. You felt like you were around the dinner table with, you know, with family and people who loved and cared about you. And we do. I mean, genuinely, the people in that group, they're coming together because they're putting their hearts out and saying, hey, we're here in loving support of each other, right? No one can go on the journey except for you. You know, everyone has to take that journey on their own. They have to step into their own process. And that's why, you know, this is a critical part. It's like, well, you're going to get encouragement along that way. You know, if someone wants to be in their self-pity, this isn't the environment, you know, because we won't be, you're not going to feel comfortable there. You know, this is one where we're enabling and supporting and inviting, like share insights, you know, what's been working for you, you know, what's inspiring you. And so we build each other up.
And you just said what inspires you, and you inspire me, and you help validate and support what I already know to be true. And I say this all the time, you guys, every trauma we've ever lived, every betrayal, everything, it led us to each other today. And trauma never travels, thank God, solo, because somewhere with it, somewhere around it, if you check it from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner, I guarantee you, you're going to find an entryway where a future blessing was born into the process of becoming. Look at what you're doing today, Mark, as a result of that bipolar break, healing, or whatever people want to call it, that diagnosis. But to me, it seems like at the end of the day, it falls under the category of blessing, because you're blessing other people through it. I want you guys to remember, no matter what it is, even what we talk about with our mental health / wellness, when we're putting the truth out there, which is the only thing in the universe that will never change nor change on us, we're putting something out there for people that we mean. And the minute you put something out into the world that you mean, it then instantly starts transferring into something meaningful for everyone else. So no more secrets. No more hiding it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. How about you? Mark, again, the dates for this wonderful summit, the 8th through the 10th?
Yep, 8th through the 10th. Starts next Friday.
Next Friday. Okay, well, I'm going to put my donation in and find out. I don't have anything that weekend that I know of. Pop in and out and take notes. And what's the best way? journeysdream.org for /Amity for people to check out the social?
Yep.
Okay.
And you can go to journeysdream.org for the summit too, if you didn't write down the Integrative Mental Health Summit.org site.
Okay. And it's on your screen, and you guys, it's at the top and the bottom of the feed because I just dropped it again. No excuses, only reasons to do better. And speaking of that, take this, get out today and do what we have the ability to do every moment of every day. That is grab an E and an R like we did here today. We are now smarter, brighter, nicer. Take it, use it. Take bold to bolder, strong to stronger, bright to brighter. You won't regret it. Oh, real quick, 60 calories, two servings of vegetables, 100% just vegetable juice. Find it in the juice aisle. Got that in. Okay, Mark, thank you so much. Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Always a pleasure. I'll see you at the tennis. I'll see you at the beatdown corner, Naperville North. I'll see you Saturday morning, bright and early, and I'll see you all, hopefully, God willing, tomorrow morning, bright and early. I'll meet you right out there on the front porch for our next episode of Bathrobe Moments. Be blessed and be the blessing.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive
I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you